Hello, I'm Nick McArdle and welcome once again to RedsTV. We've enjoyed an outstanding Super Rugby season so far, and after a match of grand final proportions against the Brumbies, the Reds have the bye this week before the competition takes a break for the June test window. Congratulations to the 12 Reds who've been selected in the Wallaby train-on squad. Special mention to Aussie Mike Harris and also to Dom Schipperle. It's the first time Mike and Dom have been included in a Wallaby squad, and they'll be looking to earn their first test cap along with Reds teammates Luke Morahan and Ben Lucas against Scotland or Wales over the next month. But before we start thinking about test season, let's relive the highlights from the battle in the nation's capital.
The Reds travelled to Canberra Stadium looking to close the gap on the Brumbies, and with the Rod McQueen Cup within their reach, there was plenty for both sides to play for. Looking for just their second win in the nation's capital, the Reds started well when Luke Morahan completed a magnificent 75-metre solo effort to put the away team on the board after just 3 minutes.
Needs the bounce, or does he? He's just going to have to fall on it. What an opening, what a try. Luke Morahan, unbelievable.
Pinpoint kicking from halfback Will Genya enabled the Reds to apply early pressure, with the home team's only chance of getting on the scoreboard coming from the boot of fly half Zach Holmes. Mike Harris gave the Reds a 10-6 half-time lead after the visiting team were awarded a penalty off the back of a Brumbies scrum. Early in the second half, the Reds suffered a massive blow as skipper James Horwell left the field with what looked like a serious hamstring injury. The boys stood strong, however, as their defensive line was tested by wave after wave of Brumbies attack, and Harris continued his perfect night with the boot as the Reds took a 13-9 lead early in the second half. The home team were butting heads over the best way to crack the Reds' solid defence, as the visiting team again applied the pressure in the final minutes. Brumbies youngster Holmes had an opportunity to snatch victory at the death, but his kick sailed wide as the reigning Super Rugby champions clinched the Rod McQueen Cup for the first time and closed in on top spot of the Australian Conference.
They've gone back-to-back in Canberra for the first time.
Now, unless you're lucky enough to have a job at Fox Sports or have nothing else in your life than a commitment to the Reds, it's pretty unlikely you're able to get to all of the Reds Super Rugby games throughout the season. We all know the magical atmosphere at Suncorp Stadium and what that adds to the game. So if you can't have the real thing, Queensland Rugby's favourite pub, the Normanby, is the next best alternative to being there for the Reds members and fans who want to get together to cheer on their team. And with beer and wine flowing and top quality bovine steaks on the menu, all for $49, why wouldn't you get a piece of that? Looking forward to getting back to the Normanby in the very near future. Let's take a look.
Stuck wondering what to do on a weekend when the Reds are away during the Super Rugby season? Well, Reds fans, why not come along to the famous Normanby Hotel in Brisbane to cheer on your team and have a drink or two with the fellow members of the rugby community? The Bovine restaurant brings a touch of class to the Normanby, offering guests a fine dining experience. And for Queensland Reds away games, the Bovine transforms into Queensland Rugby's official away game venue. With a 3-hour drinks and steak package on offer for only $49, plenty of supporters turned up to watch the Reds in their bid to topple the Brumbies last weekend. Before kick-off, Reds prop Guy Shepherdson gave the guests an insider's view on his side's preparation and shed some light on his team's game plan for the Australian Conference leaders. As the match got underway, the atmosphere in the room grew, and it wasn't long before full celebration broke out following a piece of individual brilliance by Reds fullback Luke Morahan. It was a typical tough Aussie derby and often not pretty to watch, but a welcome distraction soon arrived when the delicious steak meal was served. After 80 minutes of tense rugby, it all boiled down to this kick. And the Reds came away with a 13-12 victory, much to the delight of everyone in the room. The next away game is when the Reds take on the Melbourne Rebels on Friday the 29th of June. So why not come on down to the Normanby Hotel to enjoy the Reds-centric atmosphere and to treat yourself to a delicious steak meal and 3-hour drinks package, all for $49.
After 5 rounds of Queensland Premier Rugby, the competition ladder is starting to take shape and the top 4 are building a gap on the rest of the field. Brothers sit alone on top of the ladder after a solid win over Jeeps at Yoku Road in the match of the round. the Brethren's defence proved too good for the Gallopers as they held on for a tight 21-17 win. University have been labelled the comeback kings of club rugby after they dismantled Sunnybank 47-25. The Dragons looked to be in for an easy day when they shot out to a 25-3 lead, but the students weren't about to let their annual Ladies' Day end on a sour note as they piled on 44 unanswered points to leave the reigning premiers languishing in 5th spot. East were looking for a return to the winner's circle when they welcomed West to David Wilson Field. After a tight first half, the Tigers broke the game wide open and recorded a solid 38-15 point win over the Bulldogs. Norths travelled to Stockland Stadium to play the Stingrays, where both teams were chasing their first win of the season. The Eagles were too strong for the Sunny Coast side, scoring 6 tries in a dominant 37-22 display. Souths were able to grind out a tight away win over the Gold Coast, beating the Breakers 20-13 at Albert Park. This week's Musashi High Performer Award goes to Brothers captain Andrew Cody for his strong performance against Jeeps as the Brethren remained undefeated in 2012. Congratulations, Andrew. Enjoy that Musashi prize pack. Brothers will host University in this week's match of the round, and with the 2 premiership heavyweights coming off good wins in round 5, this game is sure to go down to the wire. Make sure you get out to Crosby Park to witness another cracking game of club rugby. Also in round 6, Jeeps play host to Gold Coast. Norths will take on Easts at Shore Road, Souths will welcome Sunny Coast to Chipsy Wood, and West will travel to Old Mac Oval to take on reigning premiers Sunnybank. Tune in next week for more Premier Rugby action.
Thanks for joining me for another episode of Reds TV. Even though the Reds aren't playing this week, I'm sure you'll all be tuning into Fox Sports and hoping the results go the Reds' way. Don't forget, there's plenty of rugby action coming your way during June. Premier Rugby will be in full swing. The Test season gets underway next week when the Wallabies host Scotland, and the Reds will play the Hurricanes on the Sunshine Coast on June 15. Tickets still available at Ticketek. Reds TV will still be up and running every week over the next month. We're going to take you behind the scenes with the Fingers on game day, go for a test drive with Rod Davies and check in with the Reds at Ballymore. I'm Nick McArdle. Catch you soon.